Before we jump into Ansible, let us look into a few more advanced topics from ML syntax. The first one, so as usual, while you can put just about everything into the unquoted scalar, there are some exceptions. A colon followed by a space or a new line. So colon is an indicator for a mapping. So what we use colon a lot in YAML syntax. You should know what is colon. So colon is an indicator for a mapping. So a space followed by the pound sign starts a comment, that we know. So two important characters that we widely use in YAML syntax are a colon and then a pound symbol. Pound symbol basically starts a comment, and then colon indicates a mapping. So because of this, following is going to result in a YAML syntax error. Let's see. So here foo some key and then colon. After that you give a space, and then somebody said I should put a colon here. So I put somewhere again one more colon. So I did. So obviously it is going to throw an error. So then we'll see a way to put this. So we want to put a Windows path inside this. So for that you have to use Windows path and then colon. Then you have to use this path of the directory that you want to enter. So you will want to quote hash values using colons followed by a space or the end of the line. That's very important. So the same thing, you put it everything inside the single quote. That's it will be done. Foo is key, and after that you give space, and after that you put whatever you want to put it in a single quote, and then the colon will be preserved. So that's how. So because you have mentioned a colon inside, so obviously it doesn't take up, because the YAML syntax, because the colon is an indicator of mapping, and you're including that in your value means the system can't understand for what purpose you have put it there. So that's the reason you use a colon. You use a quote unquote single quote for any value which consists of a colon in it. So then well, alternatively you can use double quotes for the same example. So same you can do with the double quote. The difference between a single quotes and double quotes is that double quotes you can use escapes. That's the main benefit. If you put it in a double quote, so you can use a escape sequence characters, forward slash, backward slash t, backward slash n. As it is Ansible is a Python, and then this backward characters that we use in Python, and here by and large same. There is not much of difference. Backward slash t in Python is tab, and backward slash n in Python is new line, so it remains same. Further, Ansible uses curly braces, double curly braces where for variables. If a value after a colon starts with curly braces, YAML will think it is a dictionary, so you must quote it like a double quote. So if you use a double quote, if you use the double curly braces inside the quote, then the system can understand it's a variable, or else it's very difficult for the system to understand the syntax, because a curly brace in YAML means it's a dictionary. So that's the reason used in this format. Okay. So then we have, so if your value starts with a quote, the entire value must be quoted, not just part of it. So here are some additional examples of how to properly quote things. So here you see the entire part has been quoted. Here also the entire part has been quoted. Here also the entire part has been quoted. Even if it is just a string literal, it must all be quoted. So now let's look into some of the not valid or invalid types of quoting. So this one, you see, it has been quoted off part, and then a remaining part hasn't been quoted. That too, it has an escape sequence of backward slash. So in addition to and, there are a number of characters that are special reserved. Like it's similar to Python. So those are reserved characters. So you cannot use them without quoting it. So and cannot be used as the first character of an unquoted scalar. So you can't use a forward slash curly braces, square brackets, greater than symbol, vertical bar, asterisk, ampersand, exclamation mark, percentage mark, pound mark, backtick quote, and then at the rate of comma and dot. So these are reserved characters you cannot use until unless you put them in a quote, in a quotation. So you should also be aware of colon, hyphen, dot in YAML. So a question mark also in YAML they are followed at the beginning of a string if a non-space character allows. But YAML processors implementations differ, so it's better to use quotes. So in flow collections the rules a bit more strict. So as we have seen, the flow collections in a scalar and block mapping, so this part is all valid. So flow mapping, here you see the flow mapping, curly braces, key, and then colon, hyphen, colon, after that space, then you use whatever is there inside, you put it in a quote, so it would be much easier to handle. So Boolean conversion is helpful, but this can be a problem when you want a literal s or other Boolean values as a string. So in these cases, just use quotes. So that would be better. So here we want a non-boolean. In spite of using true or false, true directly as a boolean, you can use s and false as a value by placing it inside the quotes. So YAML converts certain strings into floating point values such as the string 1.0. If you need to specify a version number in a requirements.yaml file, for example, you will need to quote the value if it looks like a floating point value. So this is the example. I hope you have seen some examples with the Kubernetes and everything. So they quote the version, API version they mention, and then they quote it as 1.1 and 1.2, and the double quote, quote unquote, double quote.